own tribe. Got it.
Everything has been live streamed. Here we go.
Yeah. Getting ready.
Yeah, my wardrobe and makeup artist let me down this week.
Okay, so off of that, your wardrobe and your bodice. Did you say something
My
about your bodice?
wardrobe and makeup artist.
Oh, I thought you said your bodice. I'm like, yeah, there's something new I learned about you. I love it. Well, we are live. We're streaming live. Woohoo! So I'm going to do what I usually do and access our group on my phone so I can check in. Oh, there we are. Awesome. Kelly Michelle's already liking us. Woo-hoo. While I do that, I am going to open up another window because Robin, I want to do what you did. Although it's
I got mine on my iPad. Yep.
Okay, hold on. It's going to be brutal because I try not to.
I guarantee you I probably have more brutal because so my first book, I have 563 reviews. And out of that, I pulled up all my 1 stars. I have 21 stars with comments. So
all right, awesome.
I remember when I first published this one, when I first started getting ratings and comments, I was all excited until you start reading some of them.
Exactly.
So yeah, resiliency, it's fantastic. But someone gave me a great advice on that one because I was responding to all of them originally when they first started coming in, and they said, no, stop doing that. Those are actually for other readers. They're not for you.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, all good.
Dang. All right. Well, it is 6:33. What a great number. And I'm going to open us up on my phone. Oh, look at Matthew. Hey, Brian, Paul, Beth, our family has joined us. So good to see. Well, to see you guys showing up on my phone. It would be great if we could actually see you in person. It would be amazing. Tonight, we are discussing a topic that's very near and dear to all 3 of us. We've all witnessed it, gone through it, have worked to overcome it, and still go through it today, right, guys? I mean, we still, I think Robin is, he's like, oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
There you go.
Oh, funny. So, and how it came up, I have to give I won't name her, but I got to give her props. You know who you are, because we talked about it this week in one of our one-on-one office calls, because she's in my new 3-month program. Guys, I know you know that I have a 3-month program to master the art of elicitation, but I just launched my next one, which is mastering the art of interview and negotiation. So you learn everything. I basically train law enforcement, but it's not law enforcement related, meaning it's not, you don't have to be in law enforcement. So this is for anybody, sales, health, stay-at-home moms, dealing with teenagers. It doesn't matter. So it's interview and negotiation. If you're interested, I digress. We were in our office call and she has just launched, she's starting a whole new business, and she launched her first product, I'll say. And she got a couple of really nasty reviews, and she took it very personally and said, you know what, I kind of hibernated for a few days. I'm like, oh, sister, I've been there. I have so been there. And I said, but you know what? I learned a lot of lessons along the way to how to overcome it. And now I can look at nasty comments and laugh. And they seriously, honestly, do not bother me. You know, you go through that first initial limbic response, like, and then all of a sudden it's like, all right. So tonight, I asked Gavin and Robin, I said, hey guys, what about talking about this, overcoming these hurtful comments from people that we don't even know, and sometimes people we do know, and becoming more resilient? Because I think everything starts with being more resilient. Wouldn't you guys agree?
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
It's just, we need it. Yeah, we need it in our everyday lives. You need to do so much and to be successful and to be happy, right? It just helps us be happy. So they agreed, and I'm so thankful. And that's what we're going to talk about. So before we kick it off, you guys don't need any introduction, but I still would love to pop around, just tell everybody, because we do have a lot of new people that joined the tribe the past couple of weeks. So welcome everybody who just joined. Hopefully you're listening in. Expect this every Thursday. Well, I try to go every Thursday. But we're either live on Facebook or live on YouTube. So you can find us, and I try to be diligent on posting and letting you all know where we're going to be. But we love to discuss topics because we want to help you. We want to share information. Knowledge is power. We have knowledge. We're still learners in life. So we're also, taking knowledge from other people, but the knowledge we have, we feel it could benefit you. And so that's why we have these weekly chats. And also I'm around great company.
Thank you.
And it's like the highlight of my week. So,
Oh.
yeah. All right. So Robin, I'm going to kick it over to you. Give everybody a little intro on who you are and where they can find you and what's so secret and special about you.
I automatically want to kick into my welcome to the Forged by Trust podcast. I'm your host, Robin Dreeke, former Marine, U.S. spy recruiter, and best-selling author.
Love it.
My name's Robin Dreeke, former head of the behavioral analysis program for counterintelligence in the FBI, spy recruiter, veteran Marine, and written 3 books, got 2 kids, and just happy to be with great folks.
Cool. I love it. Gav.
This is great, actually. I love this because not only are we doing what we can to help other people out there, but every week, if anybody's noticed, we're all taking notes constantly because we learn from each other, as well as kind of, as we go passing on what we know to other people, we definitely learn from each other, which is great. And then afterwards, we all laugh at each other for all the silly things we said during the during the live stream. So for those who don't know me, my name's Gavin Stone, former civil servant for the British Ministry of Defence. I've spent about 20 years on and off in the security and intelligence industry. I've done a little bit of everything from covert surveillance, close protection, intelligence gathering, penetration testing, you name it, done a lot. I've done a recently best-selling book on lie detection, and I've got a novel on the way as well, which I'm doing a cover reveal on hopefully in the next week or 2. So keep watching this space on Facebook. So back to you, Lena.
And I'm Lena Sisco. I'm sure you guys know who I am. Former military interrogator, former backup Navy intelligence officer, but Marine Corps certified interrogator. So I got that Marine Corps background too.
Wow.
They're my family, and worked for almost every 3-letter agency you can imagine, except for the one Robin worked for, or worked with them. And I was an interrogator at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, right after 9/11, learned a lot and created something that now has grown into a 3-day course that I train law enforcement in, and is really catching on like wildfire because it's something that I created while I was in Gitmo, but I've been perfecting for the past 20 years. I'm still tweaking it here and there, but it's a strategic-based, non-accusatory, rapport-based interviewing method, because I truly believe that truth only comes with trust. And you have to be able to get people to like you, then trust you, then be open and honest with you. And if you can't get that, you're never going to get the truth. So it's all about that human to human interaction. And now I spend my life's work really focused around that. I've published a couple books. I've given a TED Talk. I started 2 companies, and my 3rd book, Honest Answers, is finally coming out in November. We have been waiting forever because during COVID, there was a paper shortage and they couldn't print it. So it was supposed to be out in May. And then it just kept getting pushed back and pushed back. But at some point next month, you will actually, those of you who pre-ordered, it's going to actually be delivered to you, which is crazy. So anyway, a little bit about me. And here we are tonight sharing our knowledge with you about being resilient. So gentlemen, how do you want to kick it off?
With examples.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh my God, I love it. Robin, and you brought it up, and I didn't think to do this, and I just think it's so brilliant and it's so humble that I'm going to turn it over to you. I'm going to let you lead the way.
Yes. So you had mentioned that good friend client of yours got some bad reviews, and so I was like, all right, let's share bad reviews. Also, for those that tune into my podcast, this is always my setback behind me. And what I also put back here today was all the books I've read that actually have helped me with resiliency. So if we want to go through those later too, but yeah, so my first book that came out back in, I think I published it in 2010 or 11. My first one, It's Not All About Me. That actually is a bestseller. It's crazy. It's my first self-published book. The other ones were with mainstream publishers, but that one is sold probably 150,000 copies internationally.
Wow.
And I have, so on Amazon, I have 563 reviews, which is decent for definitely a self-published book. But I thought it'd be fun to pull up the 1 stars. When I first started getting these in, yeah, they hurt, because I'll tell you, I understand human behavior really, really, really well. It's part of my trauma story about why it's important to me. Being liked is very important to me. I was an only child that was bullied, from coming from alcoholic parent, a parent, so it's, that kind of thing hurts. And so everyone likes to say I have thick skin. No, I have very thin skin, but the thin skin doesn't go away. It's what we do with the information that changes. And so that's what I've really done, is I always now suck in the information that people provide. And I do a couple things with it. One, if someone's saying something hurtful, I immediately start thinking in terms of, wow, something triggered this person's trauma, because if they're going out of the way to do something that's hurtful to someone else, it's because it's something's triggered trauma in them, because human beings generally don't want to be paid. As a matter of fact, here's a great example. I was walking through my neighborhood earlier this week, and someone, as they approached me as I was walking, the first line out of their mouth was, I'm very disappointed in you. Almost, and I'm like, wow, and what a great way to start a conversation, right?
Wow.
So the first thing that enters my mind today is, wow, what's causing this person to be that way? It wasn't directed at me, it was them. And so I immediately, when someone is being hurtful, not kind, I immediately think in terms of what's going on in their life that's making it that way, and what have I possibly done to trigger it. So I kind of start getting very objective with it. And then I listen to the content. And if the content is valuable, I can suck something productive out of it, I will. Otherwise, there's nothing to do with it, because it's them and their behavior. So that's what now, does it still sting? Absolutely. Because I'm human and I have thin skin. I won't try to pretend I don't. I'm a Marine. I don't care. I got thin skin, but these are really fun. Let me just read a few highlights. This one's great. Here's a 1 star from Julie in Reno back in 2013. Not just simplistic and boring, but poorly written too. This book could use some very basic editing. For a book on communication, the poor writing style was beyond distracting. Basic stuff for absolute beginners. Basic stuff, nothing really new. It's all about listening and mirroring. Read about NLP instead, as it is what he's referring to in an oversimplified way. Don't buy this book. That's another one. Terrible book. This author brags about manipulating people into revealing things about their personal lives. I mean, blah, blah, blah. Lots of anecdotes, very little substance. Paid for this book and didn't load into my thing. Oh, bull crap. That's another one with
okay.
Sure. Oh, this is just great. Babble and filler.
Mm.
Oh man, that's another good one. Anyway, these go on. Hey, they are what they are, right?
I would love to see a list of these people's life's accomplishments. I really,
Me
really
too.
would.
I would love to know if Julie is an editor and has ever published a book. Just
okay.
curious.
So now we're going to take this to the next level, you two. That is a response I don't do anymore.
Yeah.
I used to do that kind of response because that would, to me, it would make me look insecure as well. Like I'm poking back. I'm not poking back. I don't care. These individuals have something going on in their lives that they felt like they had a lot of extra time to poke at someone else. I feel sad. It just is what it is. If you can't, I read a tremendous amount of books. And so with me, I either say something positive or I don't say anything at all.
Robin, so I do this now. I think it, I don't say it. And thank God for my now husband who gave me the advice, do not respond.
Yeah.
Because if you respond, you're telling that person that they mean something to you, that their comment cares. You don't know who they are.
And that's the key too, is because when I coach people, and every now and then you get someone that was hurt by someone at work or said something cruel or mean, I literally say, can you list for me right now the people whose opinion to you matters most right now? and it's always a spouse, a child, something like that. I said, so this person's not even on the list. So why are you listening? I mean,
Yeah.
and it was because they are insecure. Their response is some sort of trauma trigger in their life. And what are you going to do? If it's valuable information, suck what you can out of it. I mean, some of these comments are great. Sometimes people write comments that, yeah, that's spot on. Excellent. And it'll help sell it. But they just didn't happen to like it. All right. I always look at it like this. You know, there's been some amazing people in the world, whether it's a Jesus, a Buddha, a Mother Teresa, a Gandhi. I don't care. A lot of people didn't like them.
Yeah.
I
They're
like what you
absolutely
said
right.
there about that list, Robin, and it relates to something. I've written it down here so I don't get this wrong, and I'm going to read it out. Nobody knows you better than you know you. You've been there your entire life. You know how great you are, yet you seem to struggle with convincing yourself. At the same time, you take the words of complete strangers to heart and let them affect you. Does that sound in any way logical? And if you think about it, when you said about the list of people whose opinion matters, and you said, you know, are these people even on the list? That's kind of the one person whose opinion should matter more than anybody is your own. You know, you know what you're capable of. You know the great things you've accomplished. You know everything you've done and everything you've been through. And if you're coming from a place which is true of heart, then you know at the end of the day, somebody you don't even know. Why is it that you can't take your own word for it? Yet you'll listen to these complete strangers who don't know anything about you and let them get upset. Or let yourself get upset over it. No, it's not the way forward.
And the other thing too that it's been really good to do also is, and this is with the podcast, which it's my life. I mean, I love doing the podcast because the obligation you feel to develop, and this is where it's kind of going with that, you two, is that just bring as much value to others as you possibly can.
Yeah.
And if someone can help me bring a little bit more value, because even though their intent might have been to do harm to me, but if there's a nugget in there, I can help draw out to bring more value. Absolutely. Matter of fact, I did an interview of someone 2 days ago that's going to be on the show, and boy, I felt so bad because I'm as you can probably hear, I'm just getting over some cold thing, and I figured I could do the interview. You know, it's not really affecting my voice, but my focus was just a tad off. And you know how much I really focus on what people are saying. And I found myself during the interview, like once or twice, I lost track. And I felt so bad. And so I canceled too. Matter of fact, I was supposed to interview Jim Pyle today for an episode. I canceled actually yesterday because because I couldn't bring the value to him and I couldn't bring the value to others. Not because of me. It was that service you're providing. So I think, to your point, Gavin, when you are just keeping pure of service and constantly trying to be of that, bring that great value. If someone criticizes it, okay. I'm not doing it for me. I'm doing it for everyone else. So, all right.
Yeah.
Robin, you know, I knew there was something wrong with you. Not wrong.
Yeah, we've known that for a while.
Right?
Okay.
We've all known that. Come on. But when you first popped on, you were not yourself. And I was like, oh, what's wrong with Robin?
I'm wiped
It's either a
tired from
health
this thing,
issue or
too.
an emotion, or I was like, this is not normal Robin. But I didn't ask or inquire. I should have. But I was like, yeah, there's something.
Poke the pain point. And so what I also did, so when you're on and doing something like this, I'm not taking any of my cold medicine right now because, man, when you are just so focused, and even that little bit of medicine affects your acuity, it really messes with you. It's again, we talked about this many episodes ago too. It's no alcohol, nothing in my life, because it really affects my focus a lot. You know, as I get older, all these little tweaks really have major effects on communication.
Yeah. Actually, that goes back. I'm going to plug the book again. The Bible that we've come to know as Atomic Habits. At the very beginning of that, when he's on about the British rally team, how they were like the worst in the world for so long, never won a Tour de France for years and years. And in the end, there was a specialist who came in and made, rather than trying to improve them by 200%, made 200 small 1% improvements. And that kind of echoes what you've said there, Robin. With all these little tiny tweaks, you can enhance yourself, you know, to be a hell of a lot better. So,
And it goes to what both of you do very well, and that is, the focus is on bringing that value. What can I do to bring the greatest value possible? It's not about selling a product or service. It literally is have joy in bringing that resource. I mean, and anything that affects it, just that's what's crushing to me. So what someone says about it, yeah, it
So,
hurts.
all right, I'm ready. I got two-star reviews from my book. Are you guys ready?
go.
Okay. So
What a piker! 2-star reviews. It's
I know, right? All right. So one is this book is in, let's see, wait, hold on. This book has some great information that could have been presented shorter. So this book has some great information that could have been presented in a shorter book. It felt as if most of the book was the author bragging about herself and using anecdotes as fillers. I get that she has a lot of experience, and it's one of the reasons I chose to read it. However, as listeners, we are aware of it. So why keep bringing it up at every turn? So that was one. And then this one is, what a disappointment. For a book entitled You're Lying, it's deceptively titled. I'd say that less than 10% of the book is about deceit, with a much higher portion being about, now check this, I kind of like this, building rapport, communication skills, and then stories and author experiences. So, yeah,
Well,
there's a couple of mine.
my newest book that I've just put out has got a 2-star review. I can beat you both because they've said nothing. They've just given it a 2-star review. They haven't even bothered to say why they didn't like it. That much disappointment that they just didn't even bother leaving a comment.
Listen, if I pulled up my TEDx talk, after I gave my TEDx and it went on YouTube, I had to stop looking at it. Literally, because I would have been into such a depression. I probably would have quit my entire career and just said, I'm useless. I'm hopeless. I suck. I have nothing to offer people. I should just go hide in a hole. It was that bad. And I was like, I will never look at a TEDx comment on YouTube again. And it was about 8 months later that I was like, ooh, let me peek. And I was like, But then I was like, that doesn't bother me as much.
Yeah.
A couple of years go by, I look at them now and I laugh. But it was a journey to get there.
Yeah. So what did you do? What was your first step to move beyond the pain?
So I even teach this in one of my programs, and I've created like a 4-step process to being resilient. It's nothing new. It's not rocket science. But the first thing is, number one, don't beat yourself up for having that immediate limbic trigger of hurt, right? Or pain. I have thin skin too, and I have thick skin. But when people say hurtful things to me, it hurts. I'm a human, right? But I used to beat myself up for that. Oh, Lena, toughen up. You shouldn't care. Yeah, I know. But the thing is, let me just sit a minute with the hurt. Let me just sit a minute and say, yeah, that's painful. Wow. Whatever. Work through it. Don't immediately ignore it. Because if I immediately ignore it, I think a little trail of it still lingers with me. It's almost like unsettled business, or I didn't get closure. So I actually will allow myself a minute or two just to sit with the thought, to digest it, think about it, and then might think, not say, and then might let myself do that nasty immediate response only in my head, right? Because it just makes you feel good. I got it out. And then I'm like, oh, Lena, that was not cool. There's no reason. Then I go through all my things of saying, useless. Why waste your time? This doesn't mean anything. You don't know who they are, blah, 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 blah. And all of a sudden I've talked myself off the ledge and I feel good, right? So the first thing is acknowledge the emotion you have. You're human. You're allowed to feel it. Don't fight it immediately, but realize that it is a limbic trigger. And if you really start to pick it apart and be very objective about it, now you're working into my 4 steps that I use to kind of help me get through it and be done with it and never let it bother me again. I'm going to quickly rattle off the 4. I'm not going to discuss them yet, but number 1 is be able to cope, right? Number 2 is get support. I know I can't do it alone. I have a group, an army of friends and family who are right behind my back, right? So I can get support. Number 3 is use mindfulness techniques, which are amazing. And number 4 is reframe your thought process. Instead of going defensive mode, like, oh, really, who are you? Reframe it. Step outside, look at the comment a little differently, take the emotion away, and then all of a sudden, all it becomes is words. And then you think about who wrote them, and it's like, yeah, this person isn't somebody I go to for some good advice. So why do I care? I don't.
Mhm.
And so that's what I do.
Yeah, I love that, and I've heard that mentioned before. If it's somebody you wouldn't take advice from, certainly don't take criticism from them. And while you were talking there, I kept having that saying come back about it. Have you ever heard about the one about the ship? And it says a ship doesn't sink because of all the water around it. Doesn't matter how much water is around it, it's about the water that gets inside it that causes it to sink. And it's very much the same with, you know, you're going to be out there in a big bad world full of people saying all sorts of things. It's when you let it get inside. And if you do a little bit get inside, chuck your bilge pump on, spit it out, realize that it's of no value to you in any way, and crack on. So so that's the way I try to look at it. And there are exercises you can do as well, which I've done in the past. I mean, I've had some nasty comments said about me online, and I don't care. The way I deal with a lot of them now is exactly the same way I taught my stepson when it came to bullying. He was getting bullied at school. A lot of it was more verbal than physical, but that can be more damaging sometimes, because, you know, well, I'm sure you know, kids are cruel. But anyway, he used to go to school, and he'd get bullied a hell of a lot. And I said, and I know Robin's discussed this recently, I said, they're only bullying you because you've given them the power to bully you. Take the power away from them, they can't do it. You know, take back the power. And I told him to do with the system. And I sat him down. I said, right, insult me. I think he was about 10 years old, maybe at the time, something like that. I said, insult me, do your best. And he was a bit shy and a bit sheepish at first. I said, look, this is the one time you got permission to swear and say any word you want, go for it. And he tried it, and I just kept deflecting it, and I kept winding him up and say, you can do better than that, you can do better than that, and I give him examples. And it doesn't matter what you know, if you sat there and said, oh, you know, your mom's a hooker, I'd tell her, I said, well, you know, she's got to pay for my dad's drug habit some way or another, you know. So and of course I'd say, and this is what you do, take something, don't try and defend it and say, no, she's not, don't try and fight it, laugh about it, turn it around and make it more ridiculous, you know, really expand upon it, and make it look like the joke's on them. And then the other one I taught him, which was really, really good, people feel really, really stupid if they have to explain a joke. So I know certain people have done a lot of stuff on bullying recently, and I'm not going to go too deep into it, but I don't think some of their systems are the best. But if you get somebody and they're trying to kind of extract the urine, shall we say, to keep it clean, and they're saying nasty things, if you say, what, I don't get that, explain it, and they explain it to you, then it takes all the humor away from it, especially if you say, no, I still don't get it, try again. No, and by the third time they've given up, they're like, forget it. and the joke's gone, the funniness is gone, the whole humor is gone. So there are ways of just removing the power from people, and I use a very, very similar response now. If I get any even nasty comments on Facebook, which I still get now, I put all sorts of crazy, weird and wild pictures on Facebook, and I have a
yes, you do, they're humor. Funny.
I've got a dreadful sense of humor, but and it's because I don't care that I put them on there, and people do put some, you know, derogatory kind of comments on there saying all sorts of things about me, so I just come back with something just equally as daft and carry on, you know. So and I've found this is the best way to deal with it. And if you can turn something that they've said nasty into something extremely humorous that everybody else is then laughing at, then it gets an even better response all around.
Yes, yeah, it's almost like they can't come back and say anything that bad because you've already taken that out of there.
Yeah.
I will, so there's been a couple of times in my life that I couldn't control myself and I responded. And one of them happened right at the onset of COVID. And it was a very hurtful comment to me. It was in March, and my husband and I had to move a sailboat. So it was a 2-week adventure on a massive boat, just he and I, like sailing through 7 to 10 foot waves. And because of COVID, it's a sailboat, right? So I need to come in and still get fuel because we couldn't sail because of the storm. So we're using the power, blah, 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 blah. So I had posted something. I was complaining, you know, Nope, I shouldn't have done it, but I did. I said, oh my God, because of COVID, we can't pull into the port. We are an extra day at sea. I hope we make it, blah, 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 whatever. And somebody, and Robin, this goes right to what you said. Somebody had trauma. And man, she just vomited all out on me. I was the recipient of whatever happened in her life, because the harshness, the meanness, it was like a viper. And she lashed out in the comment and said, nobody cares about your sailboat and the sailing. You know, there's things going on in the world that are so much more important. We're sick and tired of hearing you complain, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, hello? And I wanted to, then I stopped. I put it away for an hour and I didn't tell Eli. And then I'm on the boat, right, in seas. And I'm like, I picked up my phone to respond. I put it away. I picked it up. I put it away. And finally I figured out, because I'm a wordsmith, I was like, this is the proper response. And I read through what I posted, and I was like, because at first I'm like, maybe she's right. Maybe I'm complaining way too much. I should be thankful. Right. So I read through my post. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Actually wasn't. And I hoped everybody was safe. And so I thought, I don't think it was too complaining. And then there was one thing that she overlooked, because in her trauma of anger or whatever emotion that she was reading my post, she overlooked a major point and a major bit of information. And, we do that. I've done that because I'm blinded by my emotions. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, and so I just gently wrote back. I said, I can't remember how I addressed it, but I said, if you read what I wrote, you will realize that I didn't address XYZ. I addressed that. And because I don't appreciate your rude comment and upsetting my friends who are on here, I'm now going to block you. And that was it. And, afterwards, I'm like, yeah, could I have let it gone? No, because I really felt like this is inappropriate behavior on my Facebook page. And my friends have to read this. And I was like, no, I'm not going to allow this. And so I just gently said, you should have read the post more clear, because this is what I said. And because of your reaction, I'm going to block you. Now, was it right? Was it wrong? I can, sit back and think now, maybe I should have done that, should have done this, should have done this. But I always try my hardest. And I say try because I'm not always that good, is to be respectful. I try so hard to communicate without the emotion. And let me tell you, as an Italian, it is hard to do. So yeah, it's a struggle. But that was one time I was like, nope, I'm responding. If it's something that, the comments from my TED Talk on my books, I don't know you. Okay, you can say this. If it's something that doesn't really strike me, then I can let it go more easily. But when and I knew it, Robin, I knew it wasn't me. I knew it was not me who triggered this. It's something in her, some type of issue, trauma, that she read my post and it triggered right off in her. But I was the recipient of that anger.
Mm-hmm. And, being a Libra, like my wife, she's exactly the same. I have to tell her a lot, not every action deserves a reaction, because sometimes you're just adding fuel to the fire.
Yes. Agree.
And we all three know that people are just inherently bad at making good decisions and thinking clearly when they're emotional. And that's good or bad. Yeah, we've all been in the industry. Especially Robin, who's had to recruit suppliers. And if you get somebody it doesn't matter which end of the emotional scale they are, whether it's really angry or whether they're really happy, they're just not very good at making decisions. People tend to lose their inhibitions a little bit, and their decision making process becomes poor because of it as a result. So I say to my wife, calm down, count to 10.
Don't tell me to calm down, because it just.
Oh yeah, we've done that before, haven't we?
But the count to 10, I love. I'd be like, okay, I can do that.
when you've counted to 10, then you can take a good aim, punch them square in the nose, and they're not expecting that, and you're going to get a better result, be more accurate. You see, so. Robin, you look like you're keen to chip in with something.
Yes, he's been smiling. Gavin and I know your body language now, Robin.
I just listened to both of you talking about escalating triggers. I'm just, there is actually a solution to it.
Mm-hmm. Give us the solution. Be
an informer, not a me-former. So when you put content out, if you're putting content out to inform and it's in terms of others, there's nothing to argue with. and nothing to poke
Yeah.
at.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is attack everything with curiosity
Yeah.
instead of defensiveness.
Mhm.
Because whenever I feel defensive, I immediately feel like I've been defeated.
Yes. Me too.
Because if I want to retort and defend something, I was like, oh my gosh, that's my ego and my vanity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just get curious. And so when that person the other day came at me, my response was funny. It was, everyone's always wanted to have a quippy result, backlash. Mine was, why are you saying something so cruel?
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah.
and then the response was, no, I'm not, I'm just expressing an emotion. And so then I said the exact same thing back to her, and she's like, and then she like huffed off and walked away.
I like it.
I didn't retort, I didn't say defend myself, I said, so I just got curious about, why would you say something so mean? Oh, no, I said unkind. Why would you say something so unkind?
That.
And she said, I'm not saying anything unkind, I'm just expressing an emotion. So then I reflected back to her. I said, well, I'm very disappointed in you. And then she,
Yeah.
And she says, aren't you curious as to why I am? I go, no,
Mhm.
because you're being unkind.
Yeah. And here's the other thing. And this is what I love. And I teach this all the time, Robin and Gavin, you know this. And people are like, nah, but it's true. People cannot cause you an emotion.
Right.
Only you can. You are in charge of how you feel, because you're looking at everything and then you're thinking about it, and your thoughts actually create your emotion.
Yeah.
So, she was like, I'm expressing an emotion. Okay. But you do realize that you created that emotion that you're feeling. I had nothing to do with it.
I know. And
Yeah.
and again, the hindsight on that one, the only thing I thought of, because you're always doing hindsight on these things. The only thing I thought of differently, I would have said was, boy, that's an interesting way to start a conversation. Who starts a conversation with that?
Wow.
That was just so crazy. I'm really disappointed in you. Really?
Yeah,
That's really interesting.
No,
I just got curious. What a interesting
Yeah.
way to start a conversation. Why would someone start a conversation with that?
I'd love to know like the context. I'd love to know more. My interrogator mind's like, who did it? When was it? What just happened? Where was I'm like,
Yeah, she's very opinionated about politics and things like that,
oh yeah.
and I'm not, and so she just likes coming at me with things, and so she didn't like the fact I didn't like get enraged about something, I guess, a couple months ago, and so she just I have no idea what the hell she's talking about, because I don't care. Not my problem. I don't do crazy.
Exactly.
I've actually just made a note on my board. Oh, sorry. Go on, Lena.
I'm sorry. I want to put us all to the test here, because this is something that our viewers can use. So say somebody comes up to, again, Robin, you, Gaff, me, and says that. What would be the best response? What can we tell our viewers to say, hey, this is how you could respond to that?
Thank you.
It
drives them crazy.
I think
oh my God, I love it.
Yeah. It
Smart
kind of depends. I kind of like what I said too. I mean, the first thing to do that I did in this situation, because I'm an extrovert also, who generally thinks out loud, and my mouth runs before my brain. Anytime now I've got the reps in, I take a second to think before and process the information coming in before I respond. And I process that information. I move beyond the insecurities of wanting to defend, wanting to justify, wanting to lash back, and said to myself, that's interesting. and go to the point where all human beings tend to go, and that's, we want to feel safe and we want to act kindly, and that's her. That had always been what she proclaimed to be, is kind. And so I challenged her kindness. If you're going to come at someone like that, I don't know. So I just take a second to think about who it is and what your objective is, in responding. If you want to, most of the time we want to de-escalate situations. So you don't want to fuel the fire by throwing more gasoline on it. And if you're trying to hopefully inspire someone to maybe contemplate or think about how they phrase something, ask a question. Just ask a question and response. You know, because it'll get there. If you don't respond with a statement, but you respond with a question, a disarming question, it gets their brain re-engaged from the emotional hijacking it has in the moment for whatever trigger response they're having, and it gets them thinking. I know she's thinking. I mean, look how much brain space is occupying in me. It drives me nuts that it does. But
I know.
but
And
it
of
is.
course
I hope.
brought it
But I
up.
hope it is for her too. You know, I hope it was a
Yeah.
good moment for her. You know, that's the. I think the real goal of this is. I have zero animosity about it.
Yeah.
It's just a pain in my ass because you know, I it's like I saw her coming over the hill. And I'm like, oh my god, here we go again. And you know, and you just got to prepare yourself for how do I disarm and make this person feel safe so they can
Yeah.
stop being triggered by me, something from the past. So that's all my brain ever does is think in terms of slow down. How can I make this person feel safe again?
Yeah. And you know, it varies because you could be face to face, or it could be like the comments, right? It could be over email or just on YouTube or something. And so that's going to determine your response as well, because you may have to face, like in your situation, you had to have a conversation with her.
And remember also, especially if it isn't face to face, 99.999% of the time, if not all the time, people are saying things for their own benefit, not yours.
Yes.
So if they're needing to vent,
Yeah.
okay, vent. I mean, it falls on deaf ears because I know you're just venting whatever trauma, situation, frustration, insecurity you're having right now. And I just happen to be in the way. Go ahead and vent away because it has nothing to do with me. And so I
Yeah.
think reminding ourselves of that also, reminding we don't have to respond. You know, if someone was just venting at you their frustration that they couldn't be on a sailboat, Lena, that's all it was.
That's what I thought it was.
It just was them saying, crap, my life sucks and I'm feeling sorry for myself in the moment. And this just was a straw that broke my back. It had nothing to do with you. It was just a vent. And so vent away. I've had people vent at me before. I said, thank God you vented on me because no impact, no idea. I'm fine.
Yeah.
And if it's face to face, you just sit there and don't respond. But she was coming at me and I was like, so you just, again, what can you say to disarm and
Love that disarm.
It was pretty funny. I feel bad.
I used to do Profiler Task Force with Janine Driver, Michelle Jarzbold, and Susan Ibis. It was great. I loved it. And there was one episode, I can't remember who we did. Sorry, my nose is itching from my dermatology, whatever. I'm so red. There was one episode we did, and this one person I know what it was. And we did that. It was a guy, and he was so upset that 4 women came together and said that we were copying the behavior panel. I'm like, and my first thing was, he's like, you're just a pathetic excuse for the behavior panel. And I wanted to fire back. I'm good friends with the behavior panel. I'm like, Greg Hartley's my mentor. I know Mark Bowden, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no. And then I got lost and I went through, and clearly on YouTube, you could see I'm posting Lena Sisco and I was hitting like, because all these amazing comments. I accidentally liked his. And I was like, okay, I'm going to let it go. And he never said anything again. Because he never posted again. He's like,
what did you do when you did that?
When I hit the like,
yeah,
I liked his comment.
Right. And what was the reaction? You validated him. You said you were heard.
Yeah.
People just want to be heard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
I've actually made a note of what Robin said there, and I've just literally put the words defense equals defeat. That's probably been the best takeaway for me from this whole thing, because in the words of Rudyard Kipling, you're a better man than me. Because when you were talking about responses, I'm a nightmare for cocky responses. I make things worse 9 times out of 10, and then I walk away thinking I probably shouldn't have said that. And if somebody came over to me and said something like, I'm really disappointed in you, I'd probably just say something like the feeling's mutual and walk on or whatever. But and then afterwards regret it. And kind of say I probably should have handled that better. But yeah, I really need to learn a little bit from you, Robin.
As do I. That's why we have you on here.
And also, the best response 9 times out of 10 is no response.
Mm-hmm. Bingo.
It's just okay.
Bingo.
And
Yeah.
It's amazing how things go away
Mhm.
if you don't fuel the fire.
Yeah.
Because again, it's not about you. People very rarely are going out of their way to poke at you personally. There's something going on in their life that you are flaring up because their eye of, from Lord of the Rings, eye of Elrond, is on you, just in that moment of critical harangue in their life, and it just flares it up. And that's where that ownership of, all right, that curiosity, I did something, not, that it's not about me. I did something that triggered a response in them in some way. What can I do to either myself and my own behavior de-escalate them or get them distracted from me so it's better for them and healthier for them? Because, as a good human being, what we want to do is not create distress in someone's life, because for whatever reason is they have distress when in this encounter with me. So I just try to, if I don't know what to say, I just say nothing, because even after this situation, my wife's like, you should have said nothing. I said, I can't. She's like coming up to like one foot from my face.
Like, well, what do you do? Because if it wasn't face to face, my not automatic, because the limbic response is automatic, like, right then I calm down. And then I think, what could I say to diffuse it? I'm not putting fire. And sometimes I will say, well, that's, oh God, that's unfortunate. You are so
Yeah, that's
disappointed.
interesting.
That's
cool,
unfortunate. That's interesting.
That's
Okay,
interesting.
I hear you. And then thank you for your opinion. And then
I think that's interesting. I think that was in I think it was The Art of Happiness by the Dalai Lama. I think that was his response to most things is that's interesting. Oh, no, or is it it might have been Eckhart Tolle. Yeah, I think it was Eckhart Tolle in The Power of Now. Yeah, I think again, people hit you with these traumatic moments. If you have to respond, that's interesting.
Yeah. And I love, I would use that, then I switch it to that's unfortunate, because that word people don't anticipate. So it hits their pause button on their limbic brain, and they're like, wait, what does that mean? What is she saying? And then all of a sudden, they don't know where to go after that. So one of my catchphrases. We have so many good comments. I've been trying to read them all. I love this. We have so many people watching. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for being here. We have a big group tonight. I love it.
Don't forget Monday. Oh, by the way, the promo for my live premiere on Monday, this coming Monday, we have Philip Baum, who is the UK guy in your neck of the woods, and he's the one that runs the behavior conference every year over there. He's talking about observing and bringing common sense to airport security and everything else through nonverbal behavior, getting away from technology. Anyway, it's a great interview I have with him, and he gives me a little poke at the very beginning. So I just want to remind, because I know a lot of this audience is my audience too. So it's a great podcast. Anyway, keep going, Lena. Sorry.
I have to watch that one because I always wanted to train TSA, and I kind of dabbled in it.
Good for that.
Talked to some people, but I want to do it because
this is a great one for you then, because he talks about how all the drug sniffers and bomb detectors missed something going on an airline, and it was an alert guy that says, why is someone sending a printer from UAE over to Detroit? That makes no sense. Meanwhile, it passed all the bomb detection stuff. So it's a good episode.
Oh, I'm excited. I love it.
Anyway, what are you saying? So let's have some in the comments, Lena.
Yeah. So, well, okay. There's a lot, and I can't. Let me. So I think what we're gonna have to do, guys, if we have time, is go in and just read some and maybe comment, because there's so many. But I love it. Samantha says, "Hey, there's 399 members in the tribe. Oh my gosh! Whoever gets the 400th member, all right. So grab a friend." And if your friend joins tonight, becomes a 400th member, you get a free copy of Honest Answers. I'll autograph it to you when I finally get them and give it to you. But that means you got to get a friend and you got to tell me who you are. All right. So you heard it. I got 2 witnesses. Let me know. Make it.
I'm going to do it now while everybody's. No, yeah. You know what you guys were saying also about, like, kind of, answers if somebody's in your face and they're really rowing and you're not knowing how to respond. If you want to have a real laugh, just get yourself one of these, and then basically all you do is you let them vent and vent and vent and vent, and all the time you just sit there and nod, and then eventually when they're finished, you just go. Sorry, what was that?
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right.
Bad tip of the night. Don't really do that.
Well, I think it's kind of fun. I do it on a plane. I always
Yeah.
put if I don't feel like talking, which is most time on a plane, because I want to listen to my books or just veg, I put my earbuds in and people sit next to me and they'll be like, and I'm like, I'm sorry,
People
what did
can't
you-
see it's really funny. People know me so when I go walking, I'm always listening to books, and so I always have my earbuds in, and I literally will have people walking up to me on the street going like this, like pull them out. I want to talk to you, and I'm like,
oh my, okay, Robin, where do you live? Because you're getting accosted by your neighbors a lot. I don't like this neighborhood.
well, and so here's why. Why do you, okay, so why do you think people like to have a conversation with me?
Because you make them feel safe.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
I value it. Remember, I love a great conversation, and I will do all I can to have you walk away saying, I feel really great.
Yeah.
And so, it's, and
They need you.
Yeah. Well, it's a service, you want to be of service, and you want people to feel better for having met you and have a great conversation with you. And so in order to do that, you got to really be attentive. You have to really be curious. It is truly amazing when you get the reps in and go into that, and Gavin, great job last night with Jim, when you go into what I call podcasting mode, which is curiosity, deep curiosity. It just makes people feel so good. And so do you, because you see yourself being of that service and giving people something so intangible that we all need. And that's an uplift. And so resiliency, kind of bringing it full back, be of service.
Yeah.
Bring that value to others, and just have a great conversation with someone where the focus is on them, and have them share things about what's going on in their life that no one's asking about. And just be there. It's the greatest thing you can do.
Okay,
Makes everything go
Samantha,
right.
yes, sorry, your comment just came in about zoo training Miami. I'm saying yes. I'll PM you later.
Zoo training?
Yeah. So at the end of my book, I talk about, my love of animals. I'm a huge animal advocate, and I've been an animal trainer and all that kind of stuff. So I was reading comments, and she has a connection in Zoo Miami.
Oh, even cooler.
Yeah, I just totally whirled off the subject. And also, sorry, Gav. They were commenting on your service to mankind, Robin. People are like, yes, that is exact. We don't think of that, because sometimes we do get me focused. I got to protect me. I have to do this. If we push that outward and really say, well, I have a service to help you. Oh my God. Can you imagine the ripple effect, even in mankind, that we could have if we started saying, okay, I'm not going to be defensive. I'm going to help this person work through their emotion. Clearly it's not me that I triggered this emotion. It's something else. I'm going to help her digress from it so that she doesn't go to bed tonight and say, yeah, wow, I was a disgrace. That was pretty awful of me. And then wakes up the next day with all this self-sabotaging behavior. Sometimes we can help people turn it around.
And that's actually leadership.
Yes.
I used to tell my drill instructors at Paris Island all the time. I said, you have to tell me everything, because you cannot go home with a monkey on your back because it's a weight you don't need. That's my job. Give me your weight to carry, because I can do it better than you, because you have to focus on X, Y, and Z. My job is to focus on you, and you're not going to be able to be the best version of yourself if you're carrying this weight. Give me the weight. I can take it. When you start operating with this congruency, I love the congruence. That's why I love the title. The congruency of your behavior, where you're being of pure altruistic service with zero ask. It's amazing. The tempo that it's just remarkable. And it's self-perpetuating. Becomes easier and easier to be resilient, because you don't no longer have to be resilient, because it just nothing bothers you, because resiliency, the need for it just starts evaporating, because if you're just acting out of pure service, okay, say what you want. So I'm not going to be of service to you today, but I'm not going to be a pain point in your life either. Okay, maybe tomorrow. I mean, it's it's a good day.
I love that.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So we have 4 minutes left. I would love
Wow,
to
that went
wrap
quick.
up. I know. You know us. I would love to kind of wrap up about our key takeaways for helping everybody that's listening tonight be more resilient and how to really handle those hurtful comments. So,
Don't respond.
okay. I'm going to write this down too, because I'm going to
So
follow up.
pause before response.
Okay. Yes.
And before you respond, think to yourself, is what I'm about to say going to escalate or de-escalate the situation? And is it a healthy response or an unhealthy response?
All right.
So good cognitive thought process, get engaged.
Okay. And
else?
also that pause is going to help you simmer down from the limbic brain, because cortisol
Absolutely.
will go off. You get emotional, you pop into limbic brain. Now you're not rational. So that pause is going to help you go settle right down.
So then after the pause, the next thing, get curious.
All right. Okay.
Remember, our theme on everything is curiosity is the greatest power weapon we have in life. Get curious as to what triggered this person's response to me.
Okay.
Let go of insecurities. Let go of making it all about you. I think it's the remembering that whatever's being said, stated, or whatever, it's not about you.
Yeah.
It's something going on with them.
Yes.
Get curious about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
I
what
love that. Yeah, because we often go, what did I do? What
Mm-hmm.
should I have not done? Oh my gosh, I'm awful. It's not me.
Oh yeah, no. Stop doing that. Don't get out of self-hate. Just get curious. Just get curious. Non-judgmentally curious about, okay, what's going on here? What triggered this? What is the best response I could have? Not for me, for them. Oh, that's good. Don't respond for your own ego and vanity. Respond for their well-being.
By the way, Robin.
And if you can't think of what it is, say nothing. Anyway, what?
Your next book, Just Get Curious.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
I
have so many good titles from great folks like you.
All
Forged
right.
by Trust is the main one. Just Get Curious as a subtitle.
What I wouldn't mind doing is wrapping it up with 5 quick tips for if you're still feeling afterwards when you get home and you go, right, I'm still feeling a bit rough and it's playing on your mind. Number 1, go back and read through old letters, text messages, or emails that you've had from friends and family that have made you feel good.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Number 2, look through old photos, and I do this. Anybody who's got me on Facebook, they see I've got 50 plus like kind of albums on Facebook of. I've been around the world and done all sorts of crazy things, and it's all on there. So if I'm feeling low, I'll go back and look through some of those old albums and old photos. And by the end of it, I'm feeling so nostalgic and so much better. It's unbelievable. Robin, you were going to jump in with something then.
I used to call this. I actually wrote an article on Gavin. That is the best idea ever. I call it a self-validation book.
Oh, okay.
So this right here is a journal my kids gave me when they were in elementary school.
Wow.
And I was like, what the hell am I ever going to do with a journal? I'm a dude. I don't do journaling, right? And so if you look, what I did with this, and here's them. So here's my Marine Corps son and my nurse daughter when they were little.
Oh my God. Oh, how cute.
And what I did was every time from that point forward that someone sent me a letter, a note, anything that was very validating, it went in here.
Oh, I love
This
that.
is an accumulation of the most validating things that's ever. And so when someone would say something mean on one of these things, if I needed to pick me up, I'd go to this.
Brilliant. Great idea.
And then here's what's really great. I can't remember the last time I opened this.
Because you don't need to.
Because you let go, it's there. And so because you're bringing the value to others. So that's such a great point you made. Everyone needs to do that for themselves. And and here's something for the entire audience. I've had people do this to me before. If anyone listening needs some validation, reach out. You'll get it.
We're right here.
I'll make you feel like $1 million.
Yes. And we're not going to blow smoke. We're going to give We're going to be legit.
Yeah. We'll say it as it is. And I love that there, Robin. And by the way, for anybody who is, this, whether it's letters, postcards, whatever you've got, it doesn't need to be a journal. It can be your own little treasure chest, your own whatever.
Yep.
I've got a treasure chest in my living room, which is full of all my sentimental stuff. So that works for me. So yeah, absolutely brilliant idea. I love that, Robin. That's fantastic. Thank you for sharing that.
No, but yeah, it was your idea. You reminded me I had it. Good. Keep going. What were the other ones?
Idea, but yeah, just it's on my list. So yeah, how are we doing for time? Because okay. So number 3. Yeah, if you want a little dopamine rush, do a little job. It sounds really, really crazy, but something as small as just like kind of you've made yourself a cup of coffee, just washing it, drying it, and putting the cup away and in the cupboard afterwards gives you that dopamine rush of completing a task that you've set out to do.
Yep.
You've given yourself a goal, you complete that goal, and that dopamine rush then gives you the energy to then have more desire and drive to go and do something else, and helps you to make you feel better. So number 4, watch a new movie, something you've never seen before. I know it sounds really, really crazy, but it's the novelty factor. Especially if it's something you've wanted to watch for a while and you've been putting it off. It's the perfect excuse to go and shut off from reality. I don't watch much television and movies, I've got to admit, but every now and again I might go to the theatre, or I might put Netflix on and look for something that I haven't seen for that I've wanted to. So that's number 4. And number 5 is do something nice for someone else.
Yes, service.
Dolly Parton once said, if you don't see anybody with a smile, give them one of yours. I think that's absolutely brilliant. So yeah, do something nice for someone else, because knowing that you might not be in the best place yourself at that particular time, but doing something nice for someone else, knowing that you're going to put a smile on somebody else's face, that in itself should give you a feel-good factor, and at the end of it, somebody else gets the benefit of it too. So hopefully that's a little bit useful.
So this is a great way to kind of put that one to test.
Mm-hmm.
So when someone leaves a great review, like we've been reading off, you thank them for the great insight and you appreciate it, because you know what, that would make them feel really good, because that's what they're looking for. They're looking for validation. Like when you click that like of the mean comment, you made them feel great. All right,
which was accidental, but
love it.
So, yeah. That. People just want to be validated.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. I'm going to go back and start thanking people for reviews later.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. And so my friend, my client came and said, hey, I'm getting bad reviews. I'm like, but you're getting reviews. At some point you affected that person, and they were so interested in you that it caused them to want to respond. People who don't care about you, what you do, won't respond.
Right.
Right. So I was like, so at some point they were curious about you, and that's good. Yeah.
Fascinating stuff.
I love our common themes: getting curious and of service.
Yeah.
Yep.
Getting curious and be of service. I love it.
And
oh my gosh.
That little dopamine rush, if none of that's going to work for you, you can do breathing exercises, which I know, Lena, you looked into Wim Hof breathing exercises. And how many seconds are you up to now?
I haven't done it in a while, but I got up to 75 seconds.
75 seconds.
Yeah.
And that was
no, wait a minute. 90 was my top 90 seconds holding my breath.
What did you start at though? Can you remember what you started?
23. I think it was low. It was like 17 or 20. So Wim Hof breathing, and he's got a whole crazy method, but I love it. Robin, within 4 days, I went from holding my breath to like maybe 23 seconds to 90 seconds.
Wow.
Why?
And I wasn't even struggling. Nothing. I was like,
for what purpose? What do you get from it?
It's like a goal, a dopamine rush. Okay. And it was like, can I do this? Can I really do this? And I'm thinking, because I'm a swimmer, so I'm like, if I can,
me too.
This,
that's why I was curious. Like, wow, why, because I swim every day too. Yeah,
I can swim better.
Yeah, and it does give you a dopamine rush as well from just the holding of your breath. So it's absolutely brilliant. Great. In fact, do you have a link to? Was it a course or a YouTube video, or what was it? Do you have a link we can post in the group?
I will post it. I will put it on my.
Yeah, it'd be nice if people can go and do that, because it's so beneficial for so many people in so many ways, and I think it's well worth looking into the breathing exercises that he does are fantastic. So yeah,
it's healthy.
Great. Yeah,
it really recharges your lungs. I also do the cold plunges all the time. I'm constantly jumping in my pool. It's ice cold, but that instant Oh my, it's like your whole body is electrified.
That's
It
a
feels
very
so
stoic
alive.
thing to do.
Yeah.
Is it?
Well, I'm not going to go too deep into the biology of it all, but we are naturally shallow breathers usually, unless we're relaxed. We only usually breathe through the top of our chest. The reason for that is going back to when we used to hunt, so that we don't make the everywhere we go when we're trying to catch or kill an animal. So we breathe very lightly while we're trying to kind of do the hunting. Then when we're relaxed, when we're not hunting, that's when we're, you see our belly rising and falling, but we're still, because of the majority of our life and the position we're in and the things we do, the way we live in our lifestyle, we still generally breathe from the top of our chest a lot. And the bottom of our lungs very, very rarely get air. It's really, really bad for you. It can cause stale air down there to create all kind of bacteria problems. And I mean, without going on for ages, it does everybody really, really good to once in a while just kind of take a deep breath in, hold it for as long as you can, let the bottom of your lungs oxygenate as much as you possibly can, getting rid of all the stale air and everything else, recirculate it, breathe it out past where the comfort is, and then breathe it in, do it 2 or 3 times. That in itself, not only will it give you a dopamine rush, will make you feel better, improve your health, and it's going to save you any long-term respiratory problems that may occur.
Another good reason to swim.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very definitely.
All right, so we are at 7:37. I think that's the type of plane. I love, so what I'm gonna do, as you can see, my scribble notes, I have written down your guys' top 5. I'm going to put it into post, maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow morning. I'm also gonna do the Wim Hof link. And I think what I'm just gonna end on is, the constant, I'm gonna give top 3, and I'm stealing 2 from you guys, right? Getting curious, being of service, thinking of them, not really thinking with my ego and defensive, make it about them, and then call a friend. If you can't do it on your own, that's okay.
Always.
You have a million people. You have, what did we get? 400? Yes. Yeah, we have 399 people in this tribe. You have us 3. Call a friend.
Always.
We'll help you off the ledge. That's what we're here for, to support each other. So
if you don't have a friend, you can always go and tell Robin, pop them earphones out, Robin. You're going to stand there and listen to
them.
Always.
Oh, I love it. All right, you guys, Gavin, where can people find you and your newest book?
So website is gavinstone.us. News book is on Amazon, which is called How to Tell If Someone Is Lying, nice and simply titled, but like the Google search. On all the major social media sites and the YouTube channel, if you go to YouTube and type in Gavin Stone or Gavin Stone author, you'll be able to not only see all of our old Facebook videos, but some of the other new stuff on there as well, and the stuff we do so we do one here every week, one Facebook every week, keep switching back. And so this time next week we will be on YouTube, so see you there.
Awesome. Robin, where can everybody find you?
Same, all social media, plus my website is peopleformula.com, and that's where my Forged by Trust podcast is at, as well as my YouTube channel for the podcast. So it's all under Forged by Trust and People Formula. You can type in either or, because I own that domain too. So People Formula or Forged by Trust.
Awesome. I don't have a YouTube channel, but you can find me at thecongruencygroup.com or sectorintel.com. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to poke through all the comments, and I want to read them all. So your comments do get read. And if you send us a hurtful one, we know how to handle it.
I'll ignore it.
Everybody, be safe, and we will see you next week on YouTube. Yeah, Robin, have an awesome night.
Bye, team.
You're welcome.